Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be playing a premiere draft of Final Fantasy. I've had moderate success with Final Fantasy draft so far, so let's dive in and see how we do. Alright, pick one, pack one, or pack one, pick one I should say. Not sure about taking an Adventureland first pick. Travel the Overworld is powerful. Black Mage's Rod would be fine. Ash would be fine. Sorcerer's Schemes is powerful. I think starting in blue seems like the safest bet. Blue is one of the strongest colors in Final Fantasy Limited. So I think we'll start with Travel the Overworld and hope to get into blue-green towns, although it's often Sultai towns or even multicolored towns. Alright. Nothing too exciting. Pick two. Valkyrie Aerial Unit, probably the most powerful card. So we could take that and hedge our bets toward an artifact deck. And it could still be fine as top end in a towns deck, since I might be able to ramp into it, even if I don't have a lot of artifacts to discount it. I think the other counter spells at common and uncommon are better than the sacrifice. Dreams of Laguna would also be fine, but I think it's a bit early to take a Dreams of Laguna, so we'll speculate on Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Alright. Eureka. Ice Magic would be fine. Machinist's Arsenal would be good with Valkyrie Aerial Unit. I kind of want to cut blue, so I think we'll take Ice Magic. Ice Magic is also a pretty high pick. One of the things I've learned from watching content creators is you want to take removal highly. Machinist's Arsenal is very powerful. Alright. And then I only have the Valkyrie Aerial Unit to go with Slash of Light. Ash can find Aerial Unit, but I think it's Syncopate here. That can be scale up in throughout the game, so it can be useful. Hectize wouldn't be bad. Marlboro would be fine. But let's stay blue. Alright. So this is pretty good. Ilmeg Pixie and Syncopate. I think Ilmeg Pixie is enough better than Syncopate to take it here over Syncopate. Can chip in for some damage and offer some card selection with the Surveil. Rook Turret is good enough that I think I take it to continue to cut blue. Grahatia would be fine. Magitech Infantry would be decent speculation. Bard's Bow is decent. All right. And then Brainstorm. Is that better than Dreams of Laguna? I guess it offers, you're looking at more cards. You're looking at 3 cards. So maybe it is the pick here. But Dreams of Laguna would be pretty nice too. All right. Nature's Claim is actually pretty decent in this set. There are certainly lots of artifacts and a few enchantments running around. But I think Rook Turret or Ice Flan are good enough to take here and continue to cut blue as much as possible. And Ice Flan is not one of the more powerful land cyclers, but I think it's good enough. Let's see. Another Rook Turret would be fine, but I probably need some more 2-drops, and Sahagin is surprisingly easy to enable in this set. Alright. And then Paladin's Arms or Grand Pulse Ochu. I think I like Grand Pulse Ochu, because Travel the Overworld incentivizes me to go into... Nothing here particularly impressive. We might play Magic Pot. I think Adventurer's Airship is better than Monk's Fist. Neither of these particularly interesting, but I'll take the Cactar. And we don't have to be in green. Okay, so here, neither of the blue cards are interesting enough that I want to take them over one of these black cards. Dark Confident, not necessarily a safe bet with all of these expensive spells. Dealing 6 or 7 damage to myself off Dark Confident does seem pretty risky, although it is card advantage. And we don't have a lot of kill spells for Vincent Valentine, so maybe it is Dark Confident. Retrieve the Esper. Creates artifacts, and it's good with Rook Turret and Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Another Ilmeg Pixie would be nice. Maybe one of these blue cards wheels. I think another Ilmeg Pixie is the pick here. And then Jill, Shiva's Dominant, I think is the pretty clear pick, although either Sleep Magic or Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum would be nice. Alright. Could take Lock, but I think it's in one of the blue removal spells. I think Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum is a little bit less easy to interact with than Sleep Magic. Bolas's Citadel, eh? We're so heavy blue that I'm not sure that's a good pick. Cargo ship could be fine. Ramps out rook turret and Valkyrie aerial unit. Ice Flan. I think cargo ship is better than Ice Flan. Triple black could also be really hard to get, given how heavy blue we are. Alright, and then I haven't got any towns, so I don't think it's Queequeg Merchant. I think it's Dreams of Laguna. Alright. And then Ultimecia, I think, is enough more powerful than either Sage's New Liths or Dreams of Laguna that we take her here. And now I like Sage's New Liths. It's also an artifact to discount aerial unit. Ether triggers Sahagin and Rook Turret, discounts Valkyrie aerial unit, and just imagine copying Travel the Overworld with this. So I think that's our pick. And then either Retrieve Jesper or Sage's New Liths. I think Retrieve Jesper. Blue seems pretty open. This is a really late Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Lock came back. And another Ice Flan. And last pick, Queequeg Merchant. Alright. I think it's Dreams of Laguna. Shinra Reinforcements would be good with Ultimecia. But I think it's pick blue cards, pick towns. Dragoon's Wyvern is, I think, the best blue common and one of the best commons in the set. So that's our pick here. Sephiroth's Intervention is very splashable, and you need interaction in this format. So even though both Thief's Knife and Dragoon's Wyvern would be great picks, I think it's Sephiroth's Intervention here. We'll put Dark Confident back in for now. Given the high mana value of many of our cards, I'm not sure it makes the cut. Alright. Another Travel the Overworld, although we don't have any towns, and I haven't seen any. I think I saw a blue-green town pack 1. Crossroads Village. I already have playables, so I could take the Crossroads Village here, but passing up a Travel the Overworld or Vane's Treachery seems like a bad idea. Vane's Treachery, probably not so good for me, so I think it's Travel the Overworld. And then at this point, honestly, I will consider taking lands over anything else. I think I like another Lock Hole. Don't really want to take an off-color town. Alright, and then Swallowed by Leviathan is good. Dovin's Veto, except we don't really want to splash that. So we didn't get there in terms of towns, which is kind of what I was originally thinking with the first pick, Travel the Overworld. Alright. This is really hard because Well, I don't have any green, so maybe I don't want Water Slam, and Counterspell is just so powerful. Thief's Knife would be nice too. Alright, I'll take another Syncopate. Nothing here, so we'll take Raida's Return to add to our collection. Another Dreams of Laguna. Alright, both Thief's Knife and Dragoon's Wyvern. I do have a lot of card advantage, so I think I take Dragoon's Wyvern here. So blue's been pretty open this draft. Uh-oh, looks like my game's frozen here. Nope, there we go. Another Syncopate. Don't think I'm going to play all of these Syncopates, especially since we have a counter spell. And Swallowed by Leviathan. I think we'll take another big Valkyrie aerial unit here. And last pick. So we didn't get there on towns. So Travel the Overworld, 7 mana draw 4. Pretty pricey. So I could consider running 18 lands. Let's make Counterspell our art. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spells. I don't know if I'm going to play all of those. But I think Dark Confident, probably a bit risky. We do have Lock for life gain, but we'd only be getting 2 life back, and he often trades off. Alright. And then I think I want 18 lands. So we're cutting 13 cards here. What interaction do I have? Ice Flan is 2. Sephiroth's Intervention, 3. Swallowed by Leviathan, 4. 2 Sokkin Summoner's Sanctums, 5, 6. Jill is 7. Counterspell, 8. Ice Magic, 9. 12 with 3 Syncopates. So that's a lot of interaction, and you do want a decent amount of interaction in this format, but I probably don't need all 12. I think one Ice Flan can go. Without, I think Travel the Overworld is still worth keeping even without affinity for towns, but I don't think Quikern Merchant by itself without the discount is worth it. We do have a lot of free drops as is, with 2 Dragoons, Wyverns, Jill, 2 Stuck in Summoner's Sanctums, 2 Locks, Swallowed by Leviathan. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts. So maybe I don't keep both aerial units. I think I keep 1. And then I think cargo ship gets cut. Probably don't need 3 Dreams of Laguna. I should, if I am responsible, I should really cut Dark Confident, but it's such a powerful effect. And if I play 18 lands, then it's more likely to hit land. With Swallowed by Leviathan and Counterspell, I don't think I need 3 Syncopates. I've got 2 Dreams of Laguna, Ice Magic, 2 Ilmeg Pixies, Sage's Newlith, Sahagin, Dark Confident. I don't mind casting on 2. I guess if we're going with the 10-7 mana base, we're not likely to cast Dark Confident on 2, and it might be hard to cast Lock on 3. But Lock's pretty good anytime. Dark Confident's pretty good anytime too. Maybe it's Brainstorm with 2 Dreams of Laguna and 2 Travel the Overworlds. And then we still need to cut 5 more cards. This is hard. I've got Syncopate, Flashback, Dreams of Laguna, Ice Magic if we cast it for a more expensive tier, Ether, Retrieve the Esper, Travel the Overworld times 2. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 ways of triggering Sahagin. So I think that's enough to keep Sahagin in. I think the Pixies and the Wyverns are too good to cut. Maybe it's the Artifact package. And then now I feel Dark Confident is less dangerous. And then maybe with this curve, we can stick to 17 lands. So I only need to cut 1 more card. How much interaction do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think that's plenty. So maybe 1 Dreams of Laguna. I kind of like having 2. Maybe it's a Pixie? Pixie just seems so good. I don't think I can play with only 16 lands, so something has to go. Could be Iceland, but I don't mind Iceland as a top-end threat. Although it doesn't have any evasion. Could also be useful to help me hit land drops. Malboro would have maybe been more useful than Iceland, since I'm more likely to have trouble hitting swamp black sources than blue. Maybe it is the Dreams of Laguna. We'll cut a Dreams of Laguna. Alright. So we're going to add lanes, make a couple other cosmetic changes, and get into the gameplay. So see you in a bit. On the draw, I've got 2 powerful 3-drops. That should help me make it to the late game for Ultimecia Travel the Overworld. So I think we'll try it. And then depending on what opponent plays, we can lead with either the Wyvern or Lock. Alright, perfect. We draw a 2-drop. And I'll play Island on 2 because I don't need Swamp till 3. Alright, opponent ramping with Gubu Gardener. We draw land 4, that's good. Let's see if opponent ramps. No blocks. Alright, we draw land 5. So let's go ahead and attack with Pixie here. I think I like some interaction. And then we'll play lock. Looks like opponent's got removal for lock. Efroth's intervention. And then I don't think it's worth tapping Ubu Gardener with Stockton Summoner's Sanctum. I think we can ditch land. Alright, another Gardener, that's fine. Opponent still has 4 mana. Alright, they attack, I'm not going to block. Greens of Laguna. I think that's good value to put that in the graveyard. And then we'll play Ultimecia. I think we'll surveil those both into the graveyard because we want to fill our graveyard for Ultimecia. Cloud of Darkness, only opponent has no permanents in graveyard. Alright. And then I think I could attack with Ultimecia, but then they can block with all 3 of their creatures and they only lose 1. I think we hold up our interaction, so Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum swallowed by Leviathan. And then I don't mind drawing lands. Demon Wall is fine. Alright, I think I like Jill here. then we'll hold up Swallowed by Leviathan, Ice Magic, Dreams of Laguna. Alright. I think we let that go for now. Alright. I think we can afford to take a hit from the demon wall. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. On we go. On the play, I think this is a keepable hand. We've got some early interaction with Syncopate and Counterspell, Seconds on our Sanctum, and Dragoon's Wyvern as a great, so we'll keep it. And we'll lead with Double Island, of course, so we can hold up Counterspell. Alright, opponent communes with Beavers. Opponent reveals land. We draw land 4. I think we'll Syncopate Finn here. Alright, another land. Wouldn't mind drawing something other than land here. I think we've drawn exclusively lands. Alright, another Dragoon's Wyvern. I think we hold up our interaction, and then next turn we can play the Wyvern and hold up Counterspell. Opponent's hitting their land drops. Wouldn't mind a lock or an Ilmeg Pixie. Opponent doesn't have a play. Ultimecia. I think we let that go. Because we're still winning the race quite handily. And we counter a big threat. I could also use Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum on any big threat and counter a powerful non-creature spell with Counterspell. Summon Fenrir. I think we countered that, because that's bad to target with Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. And we don't want them getting the value off Summon Fenrir. Opponent falls to 10 and we'll play Ultimecia. Alright, Travel the Overworld and Ether. We'd be happy to draw both of those. Opponent very heavily multicolored. Emit Selch. Looks like they've got removal. Alright, Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, not great against Emit Selch if they can fill their graveyard. Although they currently only have 4 cards, and they need 14. And then I don't need Island, because I can play Ether, and then I'll have the mana to cast Travel the Overworld if I sacrifice Ether. And then I can sacrifice Ether to cast Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum in an emergency. No blocks. Alright, Blam T-Rexor. Alright. I think I like the idea of copying Travel the Overworld. And then we have to discard. Alright, summon Fenrir. And that's enough for our opponent. Yep, as expected, Ether was very good with Travel the Overworld. On we go. On the draw, I think we have to mulligan. We only have swamps in hand. We are more likely to draw land 3, but if it's another swamp, that's a disaster. And being on the draw means we get the extra draw steps, so going down a card's not that bad. Alright, this is keepable. And then I think we bottom Sahagin since we don't have any cards that synergize with it. Mountain with Mountain doesn't have a turn 1 play. No turn 2 play. We draw land 3, that's great. Opponent's got something they can do at instant speed. Cycle Airship Crash. Well, that would have been good against my Pixie. Plays Tapland, plays Item Shopkeep. And then we want to put Dreams of Laguna in the graveyard. Not least because I wouldn't mind drawing land. Although we could cycle Ice Plan. And then I think we keep up Swallowed by Leviathan or cycle Ice Plan. Alright, we'll counter that. Wouldn't mind drawing both of those. The opponent's tapped out, so we counter with Swallow anyway. Alright, and then we need one more lane to transform Jill. Opponent replays Shopkeep. No other plays. So I think it's play Ilmeg Pixie Cycle Ice Flan. I could also flashback Dreams of Laguna. Lock Hole. We're going to shuffle him back in. I've got another copy. I think we put him in the graveyard for Ultimecia. And then we'll cycle now because I haven't hit land drop for turn. I probably should have cycled before attacking. And then we can either transform Jill or play Ultimecia. Now, if I'd been, I guess actually opponent. Alright, 5's a problem. At least they. So they don't discard cards. Alright. So I need an answer for Clive. I can go in the graveyard. Lock. I don't think there's much point playing Ultimecia. Alright, don't want island. Draw island anyway. Genji Glove, at least they can't equip it. But that's going to be a problem. Alright, no blocks. Really looking for Well, I can play Travel the Overworld. But I would have preferred Sephiroth's intervention. Dragoon's Wyvern, 2 small ball. Sahagin. And I think I'm happy to trade Jill here. Uh-oh. Alright. Now, unfortunately, really needed to draw removal, because I think we're basically dead no matter what. We're just getting out-bombed here. There's Sephiroth's intervention, a turn too late. Opponents got lethal if they transform Clive, fight Ultimecia, and attack. And it looks like they're going to see that line. This is also pretty much lethal, I think. Yeah. Alright, good game. Got out-bombed. And we didn't draw removal soon enough, or we should have kept our counter spell a bit longer and not countered the ramp spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but that's the lesson you gotta learn. Sometimes you have to save your removal for bombs and not just disrupt the opponent's game plan. So we'll have to keep that in mind for next time. On we go. On the play, 3 lands, some interaction, and some decent threats. This is keepable. Opponent mulligans. And then land would be great. Swallowed by Leviathan is fine. Opponent black-white. Plays Judge Magister of the Grant. I could have attacked with Sahagin before tapping out, in case opponent didn't want to risk playing into a combat trick. And reinforcements, that's pretty good. Draw another land. Would have preferred blue source. And then I think we hold up our removal. And then if we draw island next turn, we can play Pixie hold up interaction. Alright, didn't draw land. I think we hold up interaction here. I think I'm okay taking 4 for now. And then I need to surveil 1 card into the graveyard. Don't mind tossing both. And then let's set down the trader. Counter spell, not looking so good right now. Missing land drop's kind of unfortunate here. Alright, and then play Jill, bounce Judge Magister, Gabranth, get in for lethal. Alright, so despite missing land drops, we still got her done. On we go. Alright. On the play, I think with the extra draw step, extra card draw with Dark Confident, even though we don't have blue, we can still keep this. Of course, that will depend on Dark Confident sticking around. Alright, we draw blue. In that case, I think we play the Pixie first, so we definitely lucked out there. Lock. If I keep him on top and play Dark Confident, then we take 3, drawing lock. Let's mill lock. And then maybe we hold up Swallowed by Leviathan. No, let's get Dark Confident down. And of course, opponent resolves an equipment. I'll keep land on top, because we'll hit that with Dark Confident. And of course they hit another equipment. Alright, Jill. Don't want to hit Travel the Overworld with Dark Confident. And then we pretty much are priced into blocking Raban here. We will have to trade both creatures, and if opponent has a trick, we're basically dead. Alright, now I should have kept Jill. And then we'll have to chump the 8/8. And hope to hit draw Ice Magic. Alright, we've got plenty of cards in Graveyard. And then I don't mind drawing both of these. Uh-oh. Alright, that worked. Okay, fortunately opponent doesn't hit a town, so they don't gain life. And that'll do it. Wow, we definitely lucked out there. We drew Ice Magic just in time. On we go. On the play, I think this is keepable. Play Dark Confident, hope not to hit 7 drops. We've got Counterspell backup. Alright, opponent leaves with Swamp. We draw another land. That's a little unfortunate because it means it's less likely Dark Confident hits land. Opponent also blue-black, plays Black Mage's Rod. And of course we hit Travel the Overworld. Because of course we do. Alright, please don't have removal for lock. Alright, we hit land, draw another land. Alright, we'll have to make this trade. And then I'll trade Dark Confident if opponent equips. Alright, we hit land. I'll draw a land off Dark Confident. Alright, drawing all lands so far has been pretty bad. I'll take Second Summoner's Sanctum. Do I chump with Dark Confident? I think not if opponent's only attacking for 2. Opponent discards Ultimecia, don't mind that. Alright, we hit another land. I'm happy to make this trade. We've drawn plenty of cards off Dark Confident. Opponent takes it. And then we'll hold up Second Summoner's Sanctum for their lock. Alright, we'll do it now while they're tapped out. It's down to one card in hand. Don't mind that. Alright, so Dark Confidant could be killing us here. We're down to 2. Conberry is fine. Alright, well, Dreams. And Moment of Truth. Oh, we died to our own Dark Confidant. Well, live by the Dark Confidant, die by the Dark Confidant. If only we should have surveilled the land into the graveyard and drawn off Dreams of Laguna instead of trying to hope we drew another land. We did draw a lot of lands. Anyway, I think, though, that Dark Confidant's still worth keeping. If we hadn't drawn a 7-drop off it, I think we would have won this game. But that's what happens when you play with fire. On we go. On the play, once again, even though we have 10 islands in the deck, we somehow have an opening hand with all swamps. And then I think this is too slow to keep. We got a mulligan. Alright, this is better. And then I think we bottom Ether since I don't have anything to go with it right now. We'll play Island on 2 in case we draw a counterspell. We draw land. Opponent also leads with Island. We draw another land. Sahagan. I think he's keepable. It's something I can play rather than risking surveilling it and then drawing another land. Looks like opponent's got a response. Counterspell, that is just fine. Opponent blue-red. I'm quite happy for them to counterspell my lock. I've got much better cards I'd rather... Another Pixie I'll take. Hagen resolved, so opponent didn't have anything to do on 3. Oh, the Mountain Chocobo is good. Dragoon's Wyvern is good. Alright. Retrieve the Esper. Opponent does not attack. That's a bit of a surprise. I guess they didn't want to trade with the Pixie, even though I was most certainly not going to block with the Pixie. Alright, so Hagen hasn't been looking too good so far. Swallowed by Leviathan, I think we want to keep. Opponent's got their own Sahagin and Warrior Sword, but fortunately they only played Sahagin this turn, so they don't get to attack with it. I mean, land wouldn't be the worst draw, but alright, an opponent's dead to our flyers, and I think we hold up our counter spell. Although opponent's got a lot of extra mana. Alright, opponent doesn't have an answer for our flyers. Alright, on we go. On the play. As always, a bit mystifying that I have 3 swamps in my opening hand when I have only 7 in the deck. But this is keepable. I've got blue, and I've got Dragoon's Reverend and Lock, and Syncopate. So we'll keep it. Lead with Island in case we draw another island. Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum is nice. Alright, opponent does not have turn 2 play. I guess Lock has higher upside than Dragoon's Wyvern. So we'll play Lock here. Alright, opponent could be stuck on colors. Alright, Ether. Ether does have some pretty good upside. But I think I still want land, so I think Ether's what we let go of. And then I think we play Dragoon's Wyvern, and then next turn we can play Dark Confident and hold up Syncopate and Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Alright, opponent can't Syncopate that. But they are pretty far behind. Then I think we will discard land here. Opponent finally hits their second color. Syncopate won't do the trick here. I can syncopate that, and I think I will. Because syncopate probably going to get pretty bad as long as opponent keeps hitting lands. We hit Ultimecia. Fortunately, we have a lot of life gain from lock. So then I think we tap down Zell. Attack with lock and Wyvern. I think we'll ditch Sahagin here. Hold up Ice Magic. Alright, we hit land off Dark Confident, that's great. Draw into the overworld. I'm glad it was not the other way around there. We'll tap down Grahatia. And it falls to 6. Alright. I could keep land for Travel the Overworld, but I am likely to hit land with either Dark Confident or my natural draw step, so I think we'll discard land here. Hold up Ice Magic. Opponent does have a lot of cards in hand, but we'll be able to make good the difference once we hit land for Travel the Overworld. Rhea Crescent. I think we'll bounce our Wyvern. Alright, opponent not in a position to attack. Alright, Diva, we take 3. Alright, don't like bouncing weapons vendor to let opponent draw a card, but I think we want to get it out of the way. And that's enough for opponent. Alright, on we go. On the play. We've been lucky to be on the play most of our games. And then this is a keepable hand. We've got 3 lands, some early threats, and some interaction. Nothing to trigger Sahagin yet, but we'll draw stuff to do that. Alright, land 4, that's nice. Opponent leads with Dimir tap land. Opponent Grixis. Emperor of Kalmycia. Alright. And then I think Second Summoner's Sanctum works on Emperor because it only transforms. It isn't exiled and returns to the battlefield. So I believe it stays in play, and I think we want to tap it down right away. Alright, Blitzball is fine. Blazing Bomb. Alright. Would have liked to have drawn something other than land. We've only drawn land so far. One's got 5 mana. Alright, this is unfortunate. So, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to miss out on... And then I think we counter this. And we'll need to surveil at least 1 card into the graveyard. I think I actually keep Dreams of Laguna on top, because I can surveil and cast. We'll take 3. I can cast it and surveil, or flash it back this turn. And we can ditch lands, like that. Ice Magic is good against the Blazing Bomb, because they can only activate it as a sorcery. Yep, so Second Summoner's Sanctum doing its job. And then we'll hold up Ice Magic. Heat Block tap down. Blocks. Alright, and then I don't want to attack because otherwise they'll draw 4 cards. And flashes back Laughing Mad. Of course, they have a suplex. Unfortunately, I think our flooding out is going to cost us this game. An opponent drawing all their bombs is going to win this game, so we're not going to get the trophy. And opponent's got all the removal. Of course they do. One takes 1. And they've got removal for Ice Plan. Because of course they do. Alright, I think Travel the Overworld gets us back in here. Land does not. Alright, so we flooded out, and that's going to cost us this game, and opponent just kept drawing bombs. Yep, of course. Sure thing. I think opponents got lethal. No, they don't. Chickapoo UFO can hit for 3. They don't attack with it for some reason. Flashes back, sure thing. Alright, we've lost this game. Ultimecia, too little, too late. Well, we got outbombed by the best deck in the format, blue-red. Our confidence. If I'd had more mana, I could have bought myself a turn by flipping Ultimecia. Looks like they got removal. Sure they do. Good game. Alright. That was really disappointing. It's really obnoxious when... Not really. You flood out and your opponent just gets to go off and do everything because of course they do. So, anyway. Still, the deck did really well. We went 6-3, so can't complain about that. Let's take a quick look. So travel the overworld a bit sooner that last game might have really helped. Or if opponent didn't have a million pieces of interaction every time, would have been nice. But I think overall, this was a pretty strong deck, and with a bit more luck and better draws, which is luck, I think we could have gone 7 wins with this deck. But I'll take 6. Ilmig Pixie was good as an evasive threat, and Surveilling was really useful to help set up my next draws, especially with Dark Confident, so I can ensure that there was a land on top for Dark Confident to hit. So that was a great combo. Dragoon's Wyvern was good as expected. Locke, often a magnet for removal, but if he went unanswered, he was very strong. Jill, of course, was good. Ultimecia, I never flipped her, so she wasn't really that great. And then I think I hardly ever attacked with her, even when I had her in play. So between the two signpost uncommons, I think Locke is better. Ultimecia, though, is fine at least as a roadblock. Ice Flan was fine when we played it, and we cycled it one time. Sephiroth's Intervention, of course, is really good. Ether, we got to do the combo of Ether with Travel the Overworld, which was excellent, and that's why Ether's in the deck. Our interaction was great. Dreams of Laguna was good, especially to surveil into the graveyard. And then Dark Confident did lose us that game, but overall, it was a better inclusion than leaving it out. If I'd kept some of the more expensive cards, like the Aerial Valkyries or whatever they're called, I think I would have cut the Dark Confident, but I think it pulled its weight for the most part. And then Sahagin, we weren't that great at enabling it, so it wasn't especially good. So in retrospect, maybe you should have played another 2-drop over it, or something like the Rook Turret. That might have been better as another evasive threat. Anyway, overall, not too bad. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see more limited content, let me know in the comments. And have a good one. Bye.